There's this specific anxiety that I think only long-term expats really understand. It's that feeling when your visa is about to expire, and you're looking at the calendar, calculating days, wondering if this is the month the rules change again. It's exhausting.
Oh, absolutely. It's the eternal tourist syndrome. You live there, your life is there, maybe your family is there, but on paper, you're just a visitor passing through. But here's the thing. If we're talking about Vietnam, specifically for people with Vietnamese roots, that narrative is practically obsolete as of right now.
Right. I've been hearing whispers about this. Something shifted in 2025, didn't it?
Shifted is putting it mildly. It's more like the doors were unlocked. We saw the amended law on Vietnamese nationality kick in on July 1st, 2025, combined with the new land law of 2024. If you are someone like our listener, French national, living in Vietnam for a decade, with a Vietnamese mother, the game has completely changed. You aren't just a foreigner anymore.
That's a huge distinction, because for years, having a Vietnamese mom was nice for the culture, but legally, you were still standing in the same immigration line as the backpackers.
Exactly. But now, the law officially classifies you as overseas Vietnamese, or Viet Kieu. That label is powerful. It's a legal status that separates you from the general expat population. The government isn't just tolerating your presence, they are actively creating pathways for you to reintegrate.
So let's break down the how. The old nightmare was always the financial proof, right? You needed to prove a stable income, which was always this vague, moving target that local officers could interpret however they wanted.
It was a gatekeeping mechanism, frankly. But look at this new situation. Because this person has a mother who is a citizen, the financial burden is totally different. The new rules allow for sponsorship. Your mother acts as your anchor. Her assets, or your combined family assets, can prove your ability to ensure a living. You don't have to face the bureaucracy alone as a solitary foreigner anymore.
That's a relief. But I have to ask about the other elephant in the room. For the last 10 years, if you asked anyone how to stay in Vietnam permanently, the answer was always the same: just get married.
The marriage myth. It's classic advice, but it's outdated. Look, marriage is still a path, sure. But under these 2025 reforms, being the child of a citizen is arguably a stronger, more stable priority category. You don't need a spouse to validate your connection to the country. Your bloodline does that for you. You will.
Okay, so let's look at the options. You've got the permanent residence card, the PRC, which was always like a ghost. Everyone heard of it. Nobody ever saw one. And then you have actual citizenship. What's the play here?
It depends on what you want your future to look like. The PRC is great. It lets you stay indefinitely without visa runs. But if you go for dual citizenship, which is now much more streamlined for people in this exact situation, you unlock the Land Law 294 benefits.
And that's the big one, right? Property.
Massive. With a PRC, you're still limited. With citizenship, you can own land just like a local. You get a Vietnamese ID card, a passport, and full property rights. You're not leasing a condo for 50 years. You're buying land to build a legacy. And since the government wants to attract Viet Kieu wealth and talent back to the country, they've made sure this path is viable.
It sounds incredible, but this is still Vietnamese bureaucracy we're talking about. I can't imagine you just walk into the local police ward and fill out a form, right?
Please do not do that. That is the #1 mistake.
Why?
Because the laws are brand new. The local officers at the ward level might still be operating off the 2014 handbook. They might not even know the specific protocols for the 2025 nationality law yet. If you try to DIY this, you're going to get stuck in what we call processing limbo.
So, who do you call? The visa agents?
No, absolutely not. Visa agents are great for extending a tourist visa or getting a work permit. But this is constitutional law. This is nationality restoration. You need a full-service law firm with a legal practice license. Firms like Viva Business Consulting or ASL Law in Ho Chi Minh City. You need someone who speaks the language of the new statutes, not someone who knows a guy at the immigration desk.
It's an investment then. You're paying for the expertise to navigate a changing system.
It is. It might take 4 to 6 months. It's not an overnight fix. But compare that to 10 years of visa runs, border hops, and the constant fear of policy changes. It's a small price to pay for permanence.
It really feels like a maturing of the system. It's less about controlling foreigners and more about realizing that the diaspora is a resource. It's almost philosophical, Vietnam is saying, if you are one of us, come home.
That's the perfect way to put it. It's a shift from suspicion to invitation. For a long time, the relationship between the state and overseas Vietnamese was complicated. But these laws, the land law, the nationality law, they are pragmatic. They recognize that people like our listener, who have lived there for a decade, who have family there, they aren't visitors, they belong there.
It's a beautiful thought. You know, for anyone listening who has been sitting on the fence, maybe holding onto that French passport like a life raft, it sounds like you don't have to choose anymore. You can be both.
Precisely. You can keep your French heritage and reclaim your Vietnamese rights. The window is open right now. The mechanisms are there. You just have to be brave enough to start the paperwork and smart enough to hire a lawyer to do it for you.
Smart enough to hire a lawyer. I think that's the quote of the episode. It's fascinating to see how policy shapes identity. One day you're a tourist. The next day, you're a citizen.
It's the difference between visiting a house and holding the keys to it. And for the first time in a long time, Vietnam is handing out the keys.
Well, if that doesn't motivate you to get your documents in order, I don't know what will. A huge thank you for breaking down what is usually a very dense topic.
My pleasure. It's an exciting time to be returning.
Indeed it is. For everyone listening, thanks for tuning in. Maybe it's time to stop running for visas and start planting roots. We'll catch you on the next one.